And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is another roster review. Now, this is going to be the first abbreviated roster review I've ever done. Basically, I took an exorbitant amount of notes like I always do, but I've wrote them all down, and so I'm just going to go bullet and point, go as fast as I can. Now, the reason for this is twofold. One, I want to make a shorter video so people watching can get through it a lot quicker. People on YouTube like that. And two, for the patron who's actually getting the roster reviewed, they're going to go back and watch this time and time again, and it'll help them to get through it. So let's get right to it. RhoadCurves, little lady, you're doing amazing on your arena rank. You've been playing less than 6 months, and you're kind of a small dolphin, if you will. You spent a little bit of money in the game, but not a ton, and you've done well for where you've gone in the last 6 months. Your arena rank is currently 17 with droids in this day and age of metas. That's amazing. And then, of course, your ships, you look like you're doing pretty good with ships. Your rank, fleet rank 20. So you're in the top 20. That's, like 0.5%. You're in the top 0.5%. That's pretty amazing. And overall stats look great. As far as your guild, you're in the Rho. I hope I say that right. Rho Guild. So shout out to the Rho Guild. Woo whoop. And that's kind of where your name comes from, RhoadCurves, but you changed the first part to your guild name, which is really kind of cool. So anyway, your droids look awesome, but you had mentioned you wanted to evolve into either a Rebels team, Empire team, Sith team, Clone team, Jedi team, or maybe Resistance. You threw that in there. So you're kind of needing focus, and you were hoping that I could help you with that. So I am here to help you out. We're going to bust through all the teams and what my suggestions are. The very first thing I just want to showcase is, because a lot of people want to know, Scoundrels are really kind of the first team you need to focus on over every team, because they get you the credits you need for every other team. So your Scoundrels are as good as they need to be. I would not work on your Scoundrels anymore. Maybe Lando, getting him up a little bit higher, but that's about it. Honestly, I wouldn't even worry about the rest of them. So I'm going to give you a priority list. It starts right now. The first team I would focus on next is either Rebels or Sith. Now, Rebels, my suggestion is either, like you were suggesting, because you've already invested in Biggs and Wedge, doing a Wigs, which is the Biggs Wedge combo, and the Chase, which is Baze and Chirrut combo. Now, if you're going to go that route, which is the route you're thinking about doing, Chirrut and Baze, Biggs and Wedge, by the way, those two duos can be plugged in any teams. Either one of those duos can be plugged in any team. So those four would be the four Rebels I would go for. And of course, they're going to help you get tenacity mods, things like that. The fifth person, honestly, I would suggest is Admiral Ackbar, because you use Admiral Ackbar's Capital One ship. So I would definitely do Admiral Ackbar. If you want to get Lando up a little higher because you use him as a scoundrel, great, but you probably don't even need to spend any more energy into him. He's probably good enough as a Rebel where he's at, and he's good enough as a scoundrel where he's at, but I would focus on them. If you're possibly wanting to go Rogue One Rebels, you could level up the other Rogue One Rebels, but you've got K2SO and Jyn, but you don't have Cassian, and really the way that works best is Cassian, because Cassian and K2SO are best friends, and you don't have that set up. So the Rebels I suggest are the Rebels I would go with, the Wigs, the Chase, and Admiral Ackbar. If you don't want to do Rebels first and you're really kind of wanting to get into the Sith meta because everybody else is doing it and you just get excited about the dark side, then I would do Sith. So either Rebels or Sith is your first priority. Put them in your favorites, and then that way every day you can go into your favorites and hyper focus on who you have. I know you mentioned whenever you get some gear from a raid, you end up just kind of plugging it into whoever needs it, and then you go, dang it, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Make sure that you have a favorites of who you're farming, and you could put your top 5 Sith and your top 5 Rebels in your favorites only, so when you open up favorites, that's the only thing you see are those top 10 characters, and then you can hyper focus on them. You could do them at the same time, but I recommend one at a time. So if you're going to do Sith, the top 4 who I'd recommend: Darth Nihilus, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine. As far as your +1, the extra Sith that you're going to use, you've got a whole bunch of options. If you're going to run Darth Nihilus lead, eventually, you're going to definitely want Count Dooku, and he's the highest of all your characters that aren't geared up on your Sith team. So you could do Count Dooku as your 5th, and that would be a highly recommended if you're going to go Darth Nihilus lead. Now, if you're going to go Darth Maul lead, you probably want to go ahead and instead of Count Dooku, you'll probably want to put all that energy instead into Sith Assassin, so you can have a really fast Sith team and get off first and be able to do the days and all that kind of stuff, so that way Darth Nihilus' cooldown works out and all that. So I can tell you more about that on our Patreon channel, but just make sure that if you're going to go Darth Maul, I would put all your energy into Sith Assassin, and if you're going to go Darth Nihilus, go to Count Dooku. An alternate third, and I hate to confuse you, but an alternate third possibly would be Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious does expose on his AoE, and that expose really makes every one of your Sith way more devastating, because that extra 20% health loss is huge, and if you're going to be fighting other Sith teams, that could become a really, really, really big deal. Plus, Darth Sidious self-heals. He gains a lot of health, which makes him a threat for sure. So Sith Assassin, Darth Sidious, and Count Dooku, depending upon where you're wanting to go. But I would say Darth Maul, do Sith Assassin. Darth Nihilus is the lead, do Count Dooku. That's your first priority, Rebels or Sith. Pick one, go with it, then do the other team. Now, your second priority after those two teams are done, you're going to move to Empire or Jedi. My suggestion, Empire first. So let's go ahead and take a look at Empire. So good news is your Empire is already really pretty high. Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, that's going to be on your Sith team. You already have worked, right? Because that was your first priority. So you're going to move over here, and all you'll have left will be Shore Trooper, TIE Fighter Pilot, and your Grand Moff Tarkin's high enough. That's all you need him to. If you're not going to use his ship in ships, don't worry about getting him any higher. Do Royal Guard. Royal Guard and Shore Trooper combined are highly, highly irritating. One's putting up critical hit immunity. The other one is constantly, every time somebody gets hurt, he's taunting an auto taunt, which is just super irritating. So I would focus on Royal Guard as your +1, and then your top 4, Shore, TIE Fighter, Emperor, and Darth Vader. After Empire is done, now you could go Jedi first and then Empire, but I recommend Empire next as your priority, and then I'd move to Jedi. And for Jedi, I'm keeping ships in mind. I would do Qui-Gon Jinn, Aayla Secura, Ahsoka Tano, and then Jedi Consular of the rest of them. Now, they are your top 4, and I would continue to level them up so you can finish doing Grandmaster Yoda. The 5th Jedi you're missing right now is Jedi Knight Anakin, and then the 6th is General Kenobi. So Jedi Consular will only be utilized as a ship's person or someone to unlock Grandmaster Yoda, but eventually if you went full Jedi, what you'd want is you would want Ahsoka, Jedi Knight Anakin, Aayla, Qui-Gon, and General Kenobi, with Qui-Gon Jinn as your leader. So continue to develop Qui-Gon, Aayla, Ahsoka, Jedi Consular. Eventually, you'll get General Kenobi, and if you are thinking about saving up gear for General Kenobi, so when you unlock him, you can just level him up fast, phenomenal idea. I would highly recommend that if you want to put Jedi in the first slot of who you're going to focus on. If not, then General Kenobi can take an actual backseat to the other teams that you're focused on. You will only have so much gear to put into these characters. So, and then Jedi Knight Anakin, I would start to kind of passively farm him in the background to try to get him and unlock him so you can get him up. Because from gear 0 to 7, they're pretty easy to gear up. So that's Jedi. I would do Empire first, then Jedi, but you can choose which one. So Rebels or Sith, Empire or Jedi. And then for your third set of teams, kind of at the end, this is going to be months down the road, 3 to 4 months down the road, I would either do Resistance or Clones. And honestly, your clones you've got them pretty high as far as gear 7 and 7-star, that kind of thing, so that's cool. There's a lot of draw to wanting to do clones. They can do phase 2, but Resistance can do phase 2 of the AAT tank raid as well, and Resistance will unlock your speed mods. And speed, there's no such thing as bad speed. Any speed mod is going to be a speed mod. So this team is semi-developed. You've kind of just sort of been passively working them. As the third priority, I would probably do Resistance first over clones. Plus, you'll get those speed mods, which you need to unlock. So this would be on that radar after you got your Rebel team, Sith team, and then after you finished off your Jedi and Empire. The good news is your Jedi and Empire are really close to being done. Your Rebels and Sith, you're pretty close. I mean, you've been focused on all 4 of those factions. And so this will be, you should be able to get here in the next 3 to 4 months, and then I would work out Resistance first. So that's the priority list, Rebels or Sith, pick which one you like the best, finish the other one secondary, and then go on to Empire and Jedi, figure out which one. Remember, use your favorites tab as to who you're working, so that way when you're getting all that gear, you know exactly who you should be putting it into, so you're not getting misfocused and focusing on other characters. Now let's move on to ships. Admiral Ackbar is who you use, and I like, actually let's go back and show you the lineup that you're doing on your ships. So you've got a really great lineup, Biggs and Wedge combined. I would still continue to recommend that. And you've got the TIE Advanced for all of the target lock. I'd recommend that. That's phenomenal. I would actually suggest a small tweak to this. To the left, you have the TIE Fighter and you have JC. JC's to keep a little more durability, I'm sure, and the TIE Fighter for some extra target lock. I'd actually pull those two out and put them in your backup lineup. And then I would move Scimitar and Sunfac into this lineup. Now, Sunfac is going to be Taunton, and he's going to be a second option for Admiral Ackbar, the combination with Admiral Ackbar and your Scimitar, and your Scimitar will be out. But your Scimitar will be relatively protected, as will your TIE Fighter, your TIE Advanced, because of the 2-tank combo. So they'll be out for longer, which will help you. And anyone that comes in as backup for the other teams will get target lock immediately from the Scimitar. Plus, you will be able to utilize, let's go into your inventory. So I would recommend those 2 tanks, Biggs and Sunfac, and they're pretty high on your categories. You will have to, on the side, as a side project, this has nothing to do with the teams you're working. This is just a singular person you'll have to throw into your favorites list and just kind of work this singular person on the side, would be Sunfac. Definitely continue to develop him. You want him and Biggs as your primary tanks in that first lineup. And then you'll have your TIE Advanced and Scimitar putting the target lock down like mad, and you'll have Wedge and TIE Advanced doing some good damage as well as the Scimitar. And Sunfac, if they're buffing, he'll be stunning them. And then as your backup, I would actually recommend having Jedi Consular be your next backup, that he comes in. Jedi Consular would be great. He's going to come in. He's going to hit decently hard. He's going to call assists, which will probably get you more target lock. And he's going to put up protection up, which you're going to probably need when he comes in, because people are going to be abused when he comes in. They're going to need some help. So I would put him in there next. And then I would put in the TIE Fighter, because the TIE Fighter is going to come in. He's going to be crafty, and they're going to be missing him quite a bit, and that's going to give you extra turn meter, and he also hits for quite a lot. And when he comes in, it should be near the end of the battle anyway, and so he can come in, kind of be dodgy, and hit. So Jedi Consular, and then the TIE Fighter I would put in your backup lineup for sure. I just think that you're better suited having the TIE Advanced with the Scimitar in your initial lineup. So that's my thoughts on ships. Looking at your ships, like I said, you're continuing to develop them, so continue to do that. But go 2-tank, go Biggs and Wedge, or go Biggs and Sunfac. Use Wedge, use your TIE Advanced and Scimitar in your primary lineup. Have your TIE Fighter and your JC in the backup to protect it. I hope this helps focus you. I hope this shortened version helps everybody that's listening under the sound of my voice. I'm definitely going to bust out a bunch more of these. I think I have like 50 more. So what are your thoughts on the new layout and design? I hope this helped everybody that was watching. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior, out.